Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this combination review, combination first look, combination demo game of the brand new History Maker Express baseball game by PlayClassic.com. And this is the latest in Keith Avalone's game library. Just came out this past week, and reviews so far have been pretty positive. I got it today, and so I'm setting it up. We've got a game set up here to play. I'll get to that in a second, but let me show you what you get. And first of all, History Maker Baseball comes in this little envelope. Looks kind of similar to the one for second season Express. And inside, you have two trifold charts. This is the main chart for the regular results. Same kind of layout. You check the pitcher first, then you check the batter, and if the pitcher and batter don't influence the outcome, you go to the final column, and then it takes you to different places. The other chart is another trifold chart, which includes the men on base chart and umpire micro chart, ballpark micro chart, the contact chart, and some other things, experience, injuries, and a little thing here where you can keep track of the base runners. I'm going to fold that under because I have my play mat here. This particular league that I'm using my regular History Maker Baseball League, the United States Baseball League. So the teams are already set, their lineups are already put together, and they're out here. And we're going to do this tonight because the USBL plays a little differently than most replays. We use an 8-man batting order, and we use a 3-man pitching rotation, a 4-man bullpen rotation, and we play seven inning games. Now, as it turns out, in History Maker Express, you only use 8 batters anyway, because pitching, batting is abstracted through the process of the game. I have umpires here. Now, the rules say you can stack the umpires up and put them at the bottom of, as each umpire is checked, rotate around. I'm just going to move this marker here around the bases. We'll start with home plate umpire first. Ballpark card here. We're playing at William Penn Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as the Baltimore Thunder take on the Philadelphia Stingers. So the process is pretty much the same as you have in History Maker Baseball regular. But before we do that, let me talk about the contents of the game. I forgot. There's this little rule book. It's 4 pages. It's really 1 8.5 by 11 sheet with 4 sections to it. That's all you need to play. People have asked on the forums and at Facebook, the Facebook page, hey, do I need to know the full play game to understand History Maker Express? No, you don't. But like Keith says, if you're walking into this game not understanding what the ratings on the cards truly mean and what's a good rating, a bad rating, you won't get a full sense of how good your team might be in History Maker Express if you're not familiar with the full game. However, that being said, it won't take you long playing a few games of Express to figure out what the ratings are, which ones are good, which ones are bad, and you can adjust your lineups then accordingly. A word about the design. Many of you know that I tinker with games and come up with different ways to do things, different charts, side things, score books, all that sort of stuff. And I've also designed a few games in my lifetime. I don't think the average gamer who just likes to play the game and doesn't really look at the math behind it can fully grasp what this game has done. All of these cards that you see here are based on season stats. Now, mine's a fictional league, but it doesn't matter. They're based on some way of creating cards for evenly matched teams, etc. These qualities are based on a full season, 162 games, and they're based on the fact that every at-bat will be an at-bat by at-bat telling of the tale of a season. And it's very, very, very rare for you to be able to take what would be considered a micro game, which is the at-bat by at-bat game, and bring it up a level to where one or more cards represents the output for an entire inning. Really hard to do because the math here was based on probabilities and outcomes based on baseball averages and statistics. They weren't originally designed or based on trying to just create runs, which is what this game is. It creates runs, but it also creates a narrative. And you can, if you look at the results, they're very generic, but that's because you get to kind of, in your mind, replicate in your mind what's going on the field, so you can tell the story the way you want to tell the story. It's a genius idea. Second Season Express was the first go-around at this, where you still use second season ratings to get to where you needed to be. Highlight Maker Hoops, same thing. You're using the cards, same thing, but a little different. Highlight Maker Hoops took that and then said, oh, we're going to make a full game out of that, but the full game was first. I played the original full game of History Maker Hoops back in Chicago a few years ago. I thought the game was really excellent back then. I haven't seen the full version, but I've played plenty of games with the Highlight Maker version, and it's awesome. I'm expecting nothing less than awesome from this. Keith just has a brain that works in a way that the rest of ours don't. And he's been able to churn out a bunch of games, and they're all good. I own every single game, or have owned every single game that he's ever put out. I have not been disappointed by any of them. Some I like more than others, but that's just natural. So I'm looking forward to this. And here's why. As I go through my test season of playing a season through History Maker Express, I'm going to try to develop a system whereby you can use the results from History Maker Express to adjust card values here for fictional historic leagues, so that you can change the cards at the end of every season and play again. And once I do that, I think this game will be a much better way to play through fictional seasons, where the problem that most of us have with a fictional season is getting past that second or third season, playing at bat by at bat and keeping full stats and re-rating players based on mathematical formulas and such. It can be overwhelming for folks. And so this system could actually be the thing that really jumpstarts fictional leagues throughout the play community, and I hope that it does, because I think this is the engine to do it. You'll get the game results, you'll get winning streaks, you'll get all that other stuff, but it won't take as long. You don't need to keep any stats. The system that I'm going to use throughout the years, I'm going to keep track of every time a batter succeeds in getting on base on the men on base chart, or drives in a run, or gets a hit, whatever it is. That'll be like a hit, and everything else will be an out. So batters and then pitchers will give up those things, and so you'll have equivalent statistics on both sides. For every batter success and failure will be also charged to a pitcher or a relief pitcher. And so that would allow us to then have stats that can quickly be computed and quickly used in whatever system I come up with. I've posted what I think that system looks like as of right now, not having played the game. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play the game through. I'm going to walk through and talk through as much of this as I can. It's going to make it a little long, so bear with me. The dice that you use are the traditional red, blue, and black. You read them in order from lowest to high. So here I have a 1, 2, 5, with the blue being lowest. The black die is always used for men on base results to figure out what's going on. It's also used for a few other things. The green die is the decider die. 1, 2, 3 is a dot. 4, 5, 6 is a blank. And so we roll all of these. First up, they're off camera. I've rolled a 1, 3, 3 and a blank. So 1, 3, 3 on this chart, which is over here. There's not enough camera space. I can't get my camera rig high enough to do this. I don't have a rig like I have a nice rig, but it's not ready for that. 1, 3, 3. So the first question is it an ace pitcher? The pitcher for Philadelphia, as Baltimore is the visiting team, is an ace pitcher. So he's an ace pitcher, no runs. So right there, Baltimore gets nothing in the first. So when that happens, now we move this to the second player, but you're done with Baltimore. Now Philadelphia bats with Stanford Rogers batting. So we're going to roll for Stanford. And the roll is a 2, 3, 6 with a blank. 2, 3, 6 is the pitcher struggler or gilded? He is not. Is the batter a sad sack batter? He is not. The question is Is there an RBI? Well, if the decide or die is yes or no, then decide or die yes or no. So the decide or die was a blank, so it's no. The inning is over. There was no RBI. If that result were to happen, according to the rules, when you get an RBI result like that, got to look it up here. That's why this is going to take a while. Record an RBI. Yes. I rolled a black 6. So if there had been an RBI on this play, there would have been 2 RBIs. 1 through 5 on the black die is 1 RBI. 6 is 2 RBIs, but the decider die was a blank, so 0. So at the end of 1 inning, no score. Pitchers stay in the ball game. These are my base running markers. These are run markers that I can use to put on the batter to show how many runs have been scored so far, so I don't lose track of that. There are 10 of those blue cubes there, in case you're wondering. So now Chris Roper bats here in the second. Now again, Chris Roper isn't batting. Chris Roper has now come up at some point in the second inning. So the first inning was not necessarily a 1-2-3 inning. It was an inning in which no runs were scored. Chris Roper now is coming up here in the second inning at some point, and he rolls a 2-2-5 with a blank. Again, 2-2-5. Is he an ace pitcher? Well, Corey Dodge is an ace pitcher. We've already discovered that. So no runs for Baltimore in the second. We go to the bottom of the second now. It'll be Mike Portland. Portland rolls a 3-4-5 with a dot. 3-4-5 is the pitcher a star pitcher. Well, Chris Hammer is a semi-star, and because the decider die came up dot, he is a star, so no runs. So we've gone through 2 innings of play, and we are still scoreless here in Philadelphia as Chase Norris comes to the plate. Norris rolls a 1-2-5 with a dot. 1-2-5. Is the pitcher not fresh? No, he's still fresh. Is it a champion batter? No, it is not, and so no runs. And so we are now going to the bottom of the third inning in a classic pitcher's duel here in Philly. Corey Dodge for the homestanding Stingers and Chris Hammer for the visiting Thunder. So now it's Trevor Holland batting. He rolls a 3-4-6 with a dot. 3-4-6 is the pitcher not fresh? No, he's fresh. Is it a hero batter? It's not. No runs. Is there a solo home run here? And the question on the solo home run, as we look at the rule book again, because we're going to refer to that. You're going to refer to the rule book a lot early on. It says a solo result gives the active batter a chance to hit a solo home run before the inning ends. If he has the home run king quality, he has the quality and the dot. So he's got that. He hits a solo home run, and that is a 1-0 Philadelphia lead. And so I'm just going to write home run Holland. And again, you could keep score, and you won't need a traditional score sheet. There's a couple of great score sheets out there on the Facebook page. Al Wilson at his Al Wilson's, I call it the Al Wilson's Goodie page, has the official score sheet, and then probably is going to post a few others that he deems goodie worthy. So we're now in the fourth inning. It is 1-0 in favor of Philadelphia. Now in the USPL, a pitcher is fresh for 4, semi-fresh for 2, and I've got rules which may have to be modified for History Maker Express, but basically a pitcher may pitch into the 6th inning as long as he has not given up more than 3 runs prior to that. He has to come out of the game when he gives up his 4th run, regardless of when that is, and then you go to the bullpen. And we'll see if we're going to even need the bullpen in this situation, as Chris Grove now bats top half of the 4th inning. The roll is a 1-4-6 with a blank. 1-4-6 is the pitcher ace or dynamic. Corey Dodge is an ace, and that is another donut for Baltimore up in the 4th inning. And Philly goes to Jason Cross now here in the bottom of the 4th. He rolls, triple threes with a blank. 333 goes to the experience micro chart, so we have to pull this back, and we just roll any 2 dice. We now know the experience micro chart is over here off to my right. The roll is it's a 1 die. I'll just re-roll that. It's a 5. Is an icon pitcher or prospect batter. The pitcher is not an icon, and the batter is not a prospect. And so men on base. So we now have men on base. And we roll the black die. Black die is a 3. That means that there are 2 men on base. There's either runners on first and second or a runner at third. Well, of course, we're going to want to take runners at first and second. Move Shadow to Shadow Richmond, who now rolls on the men on base chart. And again, we're reading the low die first. The roll is a 35 with a dot. 35 is if it's a control pitcher, it's a ground out that ends the inning. Hammer is a control pitcher, but it's a dot, so that doesn't happen. So we go over to the second column. It's a base on balls, which means you roll again. So nothing really happened, but you have a base on balls that now loads the bases. And so Shadow Richmond, I believe if you roll again, it means that Richmond rotates out because he did something in that at bat. So we're going to roll again. It's an 11 with a blank. 11 batting team harmony or pitching team dissonance or single roll again. Neither team I didn't roll for that. Neither team has it. It's a ground out end of inning. So they leave the bases loaded in the fourth Philly with a chance to break it open. And again, I'm sure some of the fine folks that have done the play testing who might watch this will come back and tell me whether or not I did that base on balls properly. But it seems like since Richmond did something to advance the inning, that his time at bat is done and we move on to Troy Hartford. But again, someone will tell me if I'm wrong. And I've been wrong many, many times in my life, so I'm not afraid of being wrong here. So we go to the top of the 5th, 1-0 Philadelphia. Bryce Perkins now batting for Baltimore. He rolls a 2-3-4. 2-3-4 with a dot. 2-3-4 is the pitcher not fresh. Well, we're in the 5th inning, so he's semi-fresh, and he has the dot, so he actually is fresh. Therefore, the pitcher is not fresh. So the 2-3-4. Then we go to the next one, which is he's a sad sack batter. No. And therefore, men on base and -1 from black die if control. Dodge is control. The black die is reduced to a 1. So there's a runner on first. Claudel Brown will now stride to the dish to try to get some runs home here for Baltimore. It's a 1-4-6 with a dot. Is he an ace or dynamic pitcher? I'm sorry. There. It's a 12 on the men on base chart. I think that's men on base. Yes, men on base chart. 12 with a black 6. So slugger hits home run. He's not a slugger. So it's a single and then EOI. So on the second column of the men on base chart, when they're men on base, if you get your result from the first column, runners advance 1 base on a single, 2 on a double. On the second column, it's 2 bases on a single and score on a double. The runner does go to third, but the inning is over. And so, again, Baltimore with no runs here in the 5th. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Again, semi-fresh here for this pitchers. Great pitching duel tonight. Chris Duncan gets a 1-3-4 with a dot. 1-3-4 is Hammer is not an ace pitcher, and Chris Duncan is not a champion batter, so no runs. And once again, another 0 on the board. As time is running out here, 6th inning. 6th inning now. It's a 2-3-6 with a blank. 2-3-6. Struggler gilded, no. Sad sack, he is not. RBI, decide or die, yes or no. It is a dot. The black die is a 3, so it's an RBI single. And that will end the inning as Baltimore does tie the game at 1 as we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Still semi-fresh for Hammer, both pitchers still in. Neither pitcher under USBL rules will be able to pitch in the 7th because they gave up a run. The only way a pitcher in the USBL reaches the 7th inning is if he is pitching a shutout. Shutout or a no-hitter or a perfect game. Generally, you'd say all 3 would apply, but you can be pitching a no-hitter with and have give up a run. But anyway, Bottom of the sixth, it's Dave Crandall as we make our way completely through the Philadelphia lineup for the first time. It's a 3-4-6 with a blank. 3-4-6. Is the pitcher not fresh? He is not fresh, so it's men on base, and he's active. Oh, we have to roll for that. He is semi-active. He is not active, so there's no adjustment to the men on base thing, and it rolls a 6, so the bases are loaded. And now we go to the men on base chart with the leadoff hitter, Stanford Rogers, a chance to break the game open here in the bottom of the sixth. So we roll. And it's a 14. He's a scrapper? He's not a scrapper. But it is, on the 14, a double. And he will roll again. So that means the next batter will do this. Now on the double, 3 runs will score. So Rogers gets 3 RBIs there. He goes over there. The runner is now at second base. And Mike Portland comes up, continuing to roll on the men on base chart. This will be a 22. Is he batting at home? He singles. And that will roll again. So it puts runners at first and third. This is where you can have, this is how you can go through the lineup more than one time. So first and third now, 2 away. Well, not 2 away. We don't know how many away there are. But men on base chart again, it's a 24. Gold fielder makes an out. He's not a gold fielder, so it's an error. Safe at first. Runners advance a base, so you got runners at first and second, and another run comes home. And Jason Cross, the batter. And since we checked Stan Bradsby was the active player. He was blank, so he was not gold. And so it goes now to Devin Weaver. When Baltimore bats, Weaver will be up. Okay, Jason Cross now. Still on the men on base table. It'll be a 23. Eager grounds out. He's not eager. And therefore, it's going to be a base on balls and roll again. So now the bases are loaded. And it'll be Shadow Richmond. Richmond rolls 26. Home run king hits home run. There's a dot. Roll a 3. Shadow Richmond is a semi-home run king. He has just hit a grand slam. And 4 more runs have crossed the plate as Philadelphia has plated 8 this inning to really put this one away. Clears the bases with a grand slam. And we're back to the men on base chart, I believe. Let's see. Home run king is, home run king hits for a home run and home run again. So we're going to roll again. This is Troy Hartford. I believe with the roll again, I have to go back to the base chart because there aren't any men on base after the grand slam. So now we go back to the regular chart. It's a 2-4-5 with a blank. 2-4-5, a struggling pitcher. I'm going to say no. I'm going to have to look up the struggler rules. That's an optional rule. Sad sack batter, no. 2-4-5. And men on base, black, -1 from black, die if flash or control. He is flash. And so it's a -1 on the, so it's a 1. It was a 2, now it's a 1. Chris Duncan, and now we're gonna normally we make the pitcher finish the inning. I'm gonna have to change that rule in Express because of the way the relief pitchers go, and so we're gonna bring in a new pitcher for Baltimore, and it will be Hayden Parks. He will now be the reliever for the rest of the game. He's fresh for the remainder of the game, and we go back to the main chart, and it's a 1-1-1-2. Is he an ace pitcher? No. Sad sack batter? No. RBI, decide or die, yes, no, then EOI. Now let's take a look. There's a special reliever rule that says for that one result, the reliever of record will get a bonus pitching quality of your choice. Well, we'll say he's an ace because I have to say I want the carnage to be over. That ends the inning. But 8 runs come in for Philly, and it is now a 9-1 ball game, and Baltimore will bat to finish up, and we'll see what happens here. yeah, when you bring in a reliever, he gets 1 quality for the first batter that he faces. I'll say it was an ace. I would have picked it anyway. Devin Weaver now with a 2.66 and a dot. 2.66. Is he a star? Oh, I have to take out Dodge because he can't pitch. So it's Keith Prince now representing all the people in the bullpen. So a 2.66 is he 2.66? Is he a star pitcher? He is, because he's a dot and he's a semi-star, and so there is no runs, and so that is your final score from Philadelphia. Somebody was asking the other day, is it possible to get these big run games? And I haven't scored more than 5 or 6 in the games I've played. And some guy posted today that he had 4 shutouts in a series by one team, and that's it, 9-1. Game took a little longer, but we had an 8-run inning. So you got a chance to see how the game plays. And again, if I made mistakes, please comment on the video and let me know, because I can play another game at some point in time. It took longer than you would normally take because I just had to look up some stuff. I also was doing some explaining. I did some markers. The game times will get down. I can see me playing a game in less than 10 minutes easily. But 9-1 is the final in that grand slam home run way back when by Shadow Richmond. The big blow in that 8-run 6th inning. So that is a look at History Maker Express Baseball. Only played 1 game. Feel like I got what I think is a pretty fair result, and you know, we can argue it's only 1 game, but in your first game, when you see, after all those goose eggs being thrown and all the pitching qualities being hit, that when you start hitting batting qualities, or you hit qualities the pitcher doesn't have, all of a sudden you have men on base. All of a sudden now you're locked into that man on base chart, and that's where things get crazy. So the game really shines in that once there are men on base, the dynamic of the game changes. Pitches change. If you've watched Moneyball, the discussion that the character played by the Pete character in the movie, he's explaining how every at bat is like a blackjack hand, and when you see that, and you see how if you stay on that main chart, you're going to get a lot of zeros. If you get over that men on base chart, it changes everything. It changes the whole dynamic of things, because as long as you keep getting those really good results on the on-base chart, men on base chart, you stay on that chart, and you keep staying on that chart. So it represents the constant pressure on the defense, constant pressure on the pitching staff to, try and get that out, try and get that, get that ground out, to finish off that inning, to get out of it. And I think it captures it fairly well. Again, only my first game, but that was the thought that was going through my head as I played. It's like, okay, this men on base chart is dangerous. It's deadly, and you really, really want to stay off of it as much as you can, because once you get on there, you might not be able to get off. And so a few things I'm going to have to work on and look at. For example, the relief rules, might have to change those up a bit for the USPL because of the way the bullpens are handled. And just a few things that I'll work out myself. But I thought it was an entertaining game. Any team from Philadelphia that wins is always a good game in my book. But 9-1, the final again here from William Penn Park in Philadelphia. I'd like to thank everybody for sticking around this long, listening to my ramblings. This is a really good game. Cost is $21 for the 2 charts, the rules. You got to remember shipping is included in that. So it comes post-paid. Keith's service is next to none. My game was shipped on the 9th, and it arrived here in Illinois on the 13th. That's a little later than most people might be accustomed to. It certainly was for me, but our distribution center here just west of Chicago is notorious the last couple of years for just being massively slow with delivering anything. So I can't put that on play. I have to put it on the U.S. Postal Service. But thank you for listening, and until again we next meet here on the YouTube channel, this is your friend Brian Martin saying so long, good night, good baseball. We'll see you again real soon. So long, everybody.